A bombshell from President Trump before his meeting with Chinese regime leader Xi Jinping. The U.S. will resume nuclear weapons testing. That decision ends a 30-year voluntary halt on nuclear tests. The last U.S. test of this kind was in 1992, declared by then-President George H.W. Bush as the Cold War came to a close. Here's more.
President Donald Trump has ordered the U.S. military to resume nuclear weapons testing.
We have more nuclear weapons than anybody. We don't do testing. We've halted it many years ago. But with others doing testing, I think it's appropriate that we do also.
It wasn't immediately clear if he was referring to actual detonation of a weapon, something the U.S. hasn't done in 33 years, or merely the testing of nuclear-capable missiles. The announcement came just minutes before Trump was set to meet Chinese President Xi Jinping in South Korea for trade talks. Trump posted the directive on Truth Social, saying the Pentagon will begin testing America's nuclear arsenal on an equal basis with other nuclear powers. He said he had to act to ensure Washington keeps up with rival powers, adding that test site locations would be decided later. Asked whether the world now faced a higher risk of nuclear war, Trump dismissed the danger, saying U.S. weapon stockpiles were well locked up. He added that he would welcome denuclearization. Trump's call to restart testing comes as China rapidly expands its arsenal, and just days after Russia claimed successful tests of a nuclear-powered cruise missile and torpedo. The U.S. leader has criticized Russian President Vladimir Putin, saying he should focus on ending the war in Ukraine instead of launching missiles. According to Washington-based Center for Strategic and International Studies, China has roughly doubled the size of its arsenal to an estimated 600 nuclear weapons in 2025 from 300 weapons in 2020. The Arms Control Association says the United States has a stockpile of 5,225 nuclear warheads and Russia has 5,580. Meanwhile, Trump has given South Korea approval to build a nuclear-powered submarine, effectively admitting Seoul to a small club of nations possessing such vessels. The submarine will be built in a Philadelphia shipyard where South Korean firms have increased investment. The approval comes after Seoul agreed to buy vast quantities of U.S. oil and gas.
Russia claimed that it had successfully tested its nuclear-powered cruise missile on Sunday. The missile reportedly traveled more than 8,700 miles in 15 hours, putting major U.S. cities within reach. Russian President Vladimir Putin calls it invincible. He claims it can evade any missile defense system, present or future. But military analysts are skeptical about its effectiveness. They point to the missile's subsonic speed and radar visibility, saying it may be more symbolic than strategic. A test back in 2019 exploded, killing 7 and spiking radiation. Analysts call it a political flex as Putin worries about possible U.S. Tomahawks in Ukraine. The U.S. once abandoned its nuclear-powered missile program in the 1950s. But with President Trump ordering a return to nuclear weapons testing, America could be stepping back into an arms race with Russia and China. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov responded, saying the recent missile test doesn't qualify as a nuclear explosion test.